Have you thought about exiting your practice? My name is Eric Miller, Chief Advisor and Co-owner at Econologics Financial Advisors. And we created this video because I wanted to give you the 2 questions that you need to ask yourself prior to exiting your practice. So stay tuned. Do you have the fear of missing out syndrome? What do I mean by that? So what's happening right now is that there is so many practice owners, and really, regardless of what industry you're in, physical therapy, optometry, dentistry, veterinarian, look, the reality is that big groups like to buy small practices or mid-sized practices. This has been going on for, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years. It's not just like recently, okay? So in the industries that you're in right now, what's happening is that the big guys are buying the small guys. And there's always this thing in the back of your mind is like, I don't want to miss out on this. Valuations for good practices are at levels that I've really never seen before. And I get the question all the time, like, am I going to miss out on these valuations? Should I sell right now? I don't want to miss out on getting an 8 to 9 to 10 to 12 or 15 multiple on my practice, where in 5 years this may all go away. And you know what? It may all go away in 5 or 10 years. But that doesn't take away from the process that I think most of you should be going through when it comes to making a determination of whether or not you should be selling your practice or even thinking about selling your practice. So there's really 2 basic questions that you have to ask yourself before you even entertain this. Number 1, are you emotionally ready to sell? Now, when I say that, I don't mean that you're burnt out. If you're burnt out, that's the last thing I would have you do is sell your practice, because likely what's happening is that you're burnt out for a reason. Can't handle your staff, profit margins aren't high enough, always struggling, and you're like, why am I doing this for? And you just end up exiting when you're in a state of burnout. So I'd never do that. But you do have to ask yourself, are you emotionally ready? Is the game over with for you? And I've had plenty of people that I've talked to and said, you know what, the game there's still things I want to do left with my practice. And if that's the case, then you should continue to own it. I don't care if they're offering you, $20 million, $30 million. I mean, if there's still a game left for you, then you need to be able to do that. Unless you have something else that you really want to do, unless you have to replace this game with another game. Otherwise, you're going to be bored, you're not going to have anything to do, and you're going to create problems for yourself, because we all love to play games for whatever reason. So are you emotionally ready? Is there something else for you that you can do is a question that I certainly would ask myself. The second question is, are you financially prepared to exit? And I can tell you that very few people are financially prepared to exit. You don't realize just how valuable an income source the practice cash flow is to your household until you get an offer to sell. And then after taxes and broker fees and paying off debt, you see how much is left over. And is that what's left over going to be enough to allow you to live the life that you want to live in your household? The question is, I don't know. But I think each and every one of you needs to really look and see, if I sell right now, based upon what I'm going to get, is it going to make my life be exactly how I want it to look? Okay, where I don't have any concerns, anxieties, worries about money, income, resources at all. And if the sale allows you to do that, okay, with critical analysis, with risk analysis, with all these things that you should be doing prior to sale, then that would be a reason why you'd have permission to sell. But you have to be financially ready. It's got to put you in a position where your household is completely taken care of before I would even think about selling my practice. And I will say this, that regardless of the environment that we're in, regardless of where we're going, regardless of taxes, inflation, governmental interference, political, whatever it is. If you have a good business, if you run a good business, if you have good people, if you train your people, if you take care of your people, and you take care of your patients, and you take your profits out of your business and channel that to your household, I can tell you right now that there's always going to be someone that's going to want to pay top dollar for your practice. So regardless of the environment, if you have a good business, someone's going to always want that business and is going to be willing to pay you top dollar for that, regardless of the environment that we're in. So yeah, maybe the multiples would be a little bit lower in 5 years or 7 years or even 3 years. But, is that really the game? And that really isn't the game. The game is that you should be building this practice not for you, but for someone else to take over. And it should be done with the thought process that this is best for not only me, but my patients, my staff, the community, and of course, myself. And I think all those things need to be taken into consideration prior to you exiting or whatever your methodology is in deciding how you exit. But a thorough analysis of yourself, your emotional readiness, and your financial readiness absolutely needs to be done. And it needs to be done by someone that understands how these sales work and all the nuances of this, of how you exit a practice, who's buying you. I think all these things need to be done. That's why I highly encourage you to work with a financial advisor that understands your industry, understand who's buying you, understands how they make offers, understands what you're likely to get in rent and employment agreements and all those things. And we've had the luxury of seeing probably over 50 sales in various industries. So we know exactly what's coming, and we can tell you pretty much what your life would look like with whatever exit strategy that you chose. But I hope that video helped. I really wanted to make sure that there was a big thought process, and it just wasn't about the money. It just wasn't about the money. It's a little bit about the money, but it's not completely about the money when you're going through your thought process on how to exit. So hope that helped. I'll see you on the next video.